Hello everyone and welcome back. It is a nice beautiful day. A little windy, but that's alright. This video starts the 2020 growing season. And I will be bringing you back throughout this video and showing you everything I do for basically the fall season, getting everything prepped for springtime. And as I'll bring you over to my wonderful patch, that will involve obviously cleaning this out, taking a soil sample, getting that sent out, and then once I get all the hard work done, I'll do the more fun job, and that is coming over here to my 1141 pumpkin and my 1001 pumpkin and splitting these guys open to get the seeds out, and then obviously start drying those up. So stick around, enjoy watching me work and seeing what I do to start the growing season. Alright, now the next thing we are going to do is, after everything got cleaned out, minus walkway, that's next. I'm going to collect some soil from the patch, which I already took, I think it was 4 samples out of those two already, those 2 sections, and I took 3 out over here. Now I'll show you my very precise method of collecting a soil sample. So let me get you a little closer to where I'm going to extract the sample from, which is right here. Oh, maybe I'll bring it back a little bit. There we go. Okay, one moment. Alright, there we go. Think that should get you a good view. Now, here it is. Basically all it is this 2-foot PVC pipe, and I sanded away some of it to kind of make a little bit of a point. It helps. And then basically stick it in here, and you grab your makeshift hammer, that's what was out in the patch, and pound it in. And naturally it falls that time. I'll hang on to it this time. I picked the toughest section of the patch. Usually they were going in a lot better. There we go. So, you pound that in. That's close to 10 inches. If I go any further than that, I start getting into some clay. Now, half the time it comes out in the tube, which it did this time. Another half the time likes to stay in the hole. The ground is still pretty wet. So then I just take my trusty little hammer here and tap it. Eventually it comes out. Well, there we go. Oh, a little more in there. There we go. So now here, let me hover you over that. So tilt you a little bit more. So this is a lot more soil than you need. What I'm going to do, because it is still wet, I will break all those clumps up and spread it out more and let it all dry up. And as you can see, there is some foreign material in there. I'll clean all that out and make sure it's just pure soil. And then I'll mix it up real well, and then I believe it's rather one cup or 2 cups of soil that they want. So once it's all nice and dry, I'll do that, and then when I get ready to ship it, I'll show you how I ship it. You know, how I package it to get it ready to go. So there you have it. There's my method of collecting the soil from my soil sample. Next, I gotta continue cleaning out the garden. Okay, it is that time once again. Time to split open the pumpkins and harvest the seeds. I am going to start with the 1141 first because I'm most anxious about this one to see how the seeds look and how many I have, and also pretty curious to see how thick the walls are. So yeah, I guess the time has come. A little sad too, because it's such a pretty pumpkin, but it has to be done. So here I go. Now I just do it with a shovel and just, well, I'll show you. Alright, so from the stem end, we got 10 inch thick walls, and then towards the blossom end, it's 6.5 inches. So pretty good walls on that guy. Wow, I forgot what you call it. Alright, now I'm going to take that half off, flip it out, and then I'll collect all the seeds from what I cut out. Now I have two 2-gallon buckets, and I roll up obviously the weight, so I know that the seeds in here are obviously for my 1141. And then here, let's see here. Looks like we're gonna have a mix of, well, they're both pretty good seeds, but we'll have a mix. And for those who haven't really seen where all the seeds are stored, they're in all these fibrous hairs, I guess you can call it. So you have to go through them and pick them all out. So I'll bring it back once I have all the seeds out of this one out. So I moved on over now to the 1001 Mason. I was going to show you what the seeds in the 1141 looked like, but it's 46 degrees out here with a wind chill of 38. So sticking your hands in a cold pumpkin for an extended period of time, your fingers get pretty cold. So towards the end, what I started doing is just scraping up the bits that all the seeds are in, and just threw them in this bucket. And then when I get inside, I will get the seeds out of there. So I'll do the same thing with this one. I'll just, for the most part, scrape out the guts, put them in the bucket, and get the seeds out where it's a little warmer out. But I brought you back so that you can look inside this pumpkin, and from the stem end it was 9.5-inch thick walls, and then over to the blossom end it was 6 inches. So went from 9.5 and gradually went down to 6 inches. So still a respectable wall thickness on this one. And now I'm gonna get that big old chunk out of there and start scooping out the seeds. Alright, so I brought you guys back because as I chopped that guy up, I was noticing the bottom of the pumpkin, and it had a nice seam down the middle, and so I cut out a chunk, which here's the bottom of the pumpkin, the skin, and here's the top of the inside. And right where that seam was, it was barely 2 inches thick. So if that really meant anything, I don't know. Obviously lost some weight right here with walls being so thin on the bottom. So anyways, back to extracting the seeds. Alright, I finally got all the seeds separated from that big pile of pumpkin guts, and I got everything set up for drying. I might probably have to refine this a little bit, just quickly threw this together. You can see I have 2 fans on the bottom blowing up, and I have this fan right here blowing over them to help dry them out. These guys were very slimy and a little more of a challenge to get out of that slop. More so the 1141s. Those were kind of a nuisance, but hey, we got them out, and there they are. Definitely got more seeds from the 1001, and they're a little bit bigger, but that doesn't totally mean anything. And over the next couple of days, or well, first for the first couple of hours, gotta wait let this dry off a little bit more. Then it'll be easier to separate the seeds and get more of some of these guts that just wanted to stay with it. And as the in the coming weeks, as the seeds dry out, I will pick out the bad ones. Because I didn't sort these because it's kind of impossible when it's in this state. So yeah, as time goes on, I'll just sort the bad ones out, and if I see any black mold or whatnot going on in here, or mold, I should say, I will spray these all down with hydrogen peroxide, and that'll help kill any germs or whatnot that's on there that's wanting to grow. And let's see, what else can we say? Now, all these seeds, let me pick one out. I don't know if you can totally see it, but they have this membrane around it. And when you know they're dried, this stuff it'll just crumble in your fingers, and that's when you know that your seeds are pretty well dried. I usually leave the seeds on here like this with the fans for a full month, 4 weeks. Number of seeds here will go down because, like I said, I did not sort through these out. I just grabbed them and threw them on this rack so I can let them dry out and sort out the bad ones as time goes on. Alright, so the patch is all cleaned up. Now all I need to do is wait for the ground to dry up enough so I can get in there and till it up. And as you may have noticed, I removed the posts in the center, and that's because I will be changing things up for the 2020 growing season. I will be growing 4 plants instead of 3. And the reason for that is I am attempting to grow 3 pumpkins that will total 4,000 pounds so that I can get a jacket from the Great Pumpkin Commonwealth, which in the giant pumpkin world, that's a big deal. The 4th pumpkin will simply be there as a backup in case one of the pumpkins, abort like what happened this year. So it'll be a little bit more work, but I think that's what you need to do in order to achieve this tough goal. Because this is one of the main hurdles and goals all of us giant pumpkin growers attempt to do, and a lot of them have achieved it, and I would like to achieve it as well. So there you have it, guys. The end of 2020 is all over, and like I had stated in the beginning of this video, the 2020 season has begun. As you have seen, I did take out all the seeds, and those are drying. The soil is drying, the sample that I took out, and I will send that to Western Labs shortly. And basically just gotta start planning for next year, which I will have a video going over what my plans are for the 2020 season and all the things that I do in the slower half of the growing season, which is during the winter months. So, until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.